Hare Krishna. Can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Okay, let's start. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadveda Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing from the first chapter of the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is titled as The Activities of King Priyavrat Maharaj. So the chapter starts with a question asked by Parikshit Maharaj with respect to what was spoken by Srila Shukadeva Goswami in the previous chapter. So Srila Shukadeva Goswami had mentioned that actually this Priyavrat Maharaj was a self-realized, perfected devotee. And then in the same breath, he had actually told that then he then got married and enjoyed family life. That kind of a mention was there. And this piqued some curiosity in the mind of Parikshit Maharaj. And he asked this question. So he says that Priyabrato Bhagavata Atmarama Katam Mune Grihe Aramata Yanmulaha Karmabandha Parabhavaha. O sage, how did the great devotee and Atmarama Priyavrata enjoy household life, which is the cause of bondage to karma and defeats even a pure soul? You know, we discussed this last time also, that household life is not a cause of bondage. What is a cause of bondage is material attachments. And generally, household life, generally, not always, household life indicates that the material or a desire for household life indicates that the material attachment is not gone. Household life does not cause material attachment. Rather, household life, when properly engaged in, detaches one from material engagement, material attachment. That is the way the whole Varnashram system is designed. The way the Varnashram system is designed is that a person, one who has lot of material desires, he gets to regulate those material desires and channelize them in a very dharmic way in spiritual, in the grihastha life. But if one does not accept the grihastha life, but tries, then he will. Then if he has lot of material desires, then what will happen? Then he will engage in adharmic enjoyment. Adharmic enjoyment, which will not detach him. Merely not getting married while still dealing with material desires is not a very prudent this thing. Because again, one should understand a desire for accepting household life is just a symptom that the material attachments are not gone. Household life does not cause material attachments. Household life, when properly engaged in according to the rules of the Dharma Shastras, actually gradually detaches one from material engagement. Actually, this whole Nishkama Karma Yoga is engaged in the Grihastha life. And what does Nishkama Karma Yoga do? Nishkama Karma Yoga completely purifies the heart. So the whole Varnashram system, if you see, there is, let's say someone is absolutely materialistic. He has a lot of materialistic desires. Then the Vedic system provides him a provision for fulfilling his material desires through the process of Sakama Karma Yoga, where he accepts the Varnashram designation, okay, I am a Brahmana, okay, I am a Grihastha, and I will enjoy. I will engage in all these, I will engage in Uh, just give me 1 second. I will engage in all kinds of uh, Vedic prescribed duties, and by engaging in the Vedic prescribed duties, um, it will give me a lot of pious results, and by that piety, I will earn artha and kama. Okay, and because the person has accepted the Vedic injunctions to get artha and kama, because he has accepted the path of dharma to get artha and kama, gradually the heart starts becoming purified and his attachment to artha and kama becomes looser and looser. At least in terms of goal, he understands that yes, I am troubled by these material desires, but I understand that liberation is a worthy goal. I understand that yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaye evate. At least I have a theoretical understanding. I have a theoretical understanding that whatever I try to enjoy in this material world will eventually give me some kind of suffering. So, to pursue this material enjoyment, even though it is so addictive, but to pursue the material enjoyment should not be the goal. He understands that. He understands that. So, that is actually that is a person who is at the stage of Nishkama Karma Yoga. So, in the Grihastha life, you go from Sakama Karma Yoga, Sakama Karma to Nishkama Karma. So Nishkama Karma Yogi is like the sadhaka. Huh? You have the parallel path of, you have the path of bhakti and you have the path of the gradual development. In the path of gradual development, you have this Nishkama Karma Yogi who has theoretically understood that material pleasures are not all in all. I should aspire for liberation. But still his heart is troubled with lot of material anarthas. I desire to enjoy this, I desire to enjoy that, and all that. Similarly, a sadhaka is one who is theoretically convinced that the goal of my life should be Krishna Prema, but his heart is troubled with lot of material desires. So, what does the Nishkama Karma Yogi do? He diligently tries to perform his prescribed duties, Varnashrama prescribed duties, okay, which allows him some kind of satisfaction because the activities and the profession is designed in such a way that it will give him some satisfaction according to his nature. But at the same time, there is further purification. Okay, the purification of the anarthas happens at the stage of. So when one engages in Sakama Karma Yoga, purification of the goal happens. Then when one at the stage of Nishkama Karma Yoga, purification of the anarthas happens. Okay. So just like when someone in the path of bhakti, okay, let me just add a slide here and then we will try to draw some parallels here. Okay. I will put it here so that I can add it. Anyways. So here you have the gradual path and the path of bhakti. Okay. So here he starts being a materialist. Then he becomes a Sakama Karma Yogi. While practicing Sakama Karma Yoga, there is purification of goal. So when the purification of goal happens, then he comes to the platform of Nishkama Karma Yoga. And at the stage of Nishkama Karma Yoga, there is purification of anarthas. Okay. Then he comes to the stage of Jnana Yoga / Ashtanga Yoga. where he um, strives for Brahman realization. Then he becomes a Jivan Mukta, where he gives up Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and practices only Bhakti. And then he attains Sayujya Mukti. So, when a materialist comes, this stage is Grihastha life. It can be practiced only as a Grihastha. Okay. Okay, 100 devotees have joined. I will just send the YouTube link. I think maybe I should do it every time by default till we realize that it's no longer going to be 100. So, anyways. Okay. So now on the path of bhakti, someone comes as a materialist. Okay. And the materialist comes and meeting with devotees. And meeting with devotees leads to, this Agyata Sukriti. So at this stage, what happens? Purification of goal happens. Okay. Then he reaches the stage of Shraddha. Then from Shraddha, Asakti. Okay. From Shraddha to Asakti, there is Anartha Nivritti and Artha Pravritti. Okay. Then the equivalent of Jivan Mukta is a devotee at the stage of Bhava and Prema. Okay. Then he becomes an associate of the Lord. Okay. So you see here, this is how these are two parallel paths. These are two parallel paths. So here, if you see in the gradual path, in the Grihastha ashram is a very pivotal ashram. Actually, in the Grihastha ashram, both purification of goals and purification of anartha happens because of a dharmic proper engagement in the Grihastha ashram. So the principle is that Grihastha ashram does not bind one when properly engaged in according to the principles of the Dharma Shastras. But Grihastha ashram is actually a symptom. It is a symptom. Attachment to Grihastha ashram is a symptom that the material purification of the heart is not complete. Okay. So therefore, these kind of verses which seemingly criticize Grihastha ashram are not actually criticizing Grihastha ashram as the cause of material attachment, but as a symptom of material attachment. Attachment to Grihastha ashram is a symptom. But when someone who is on the gradual path, okay, if he has lot of material desires, but if he skips this Grihastha ashram and tries to directly practice Jnana Yoga or something like that, then he is called as a cheater. So what is the term that what is that a term that Bhagavad Gita uses to indicate such a person? Mithyachari. Okay. So he's called as a Mithyachari. Why? Because he wants to just show off that he is. Why he wants to take up directly to Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga? Because he wants to show off that he is purified. While giving up the means of purification. The means of purification is the Grihastha ashram. So the point is that sannyas does not purify. Sannyas is a sign that your heart is already purified. So if someone, so similarly, Grihastha ashram in itself is not the cause of, bondage, but Grihastha ashram is the sign that that the purification is not yet complete. Attachment to Grihastha ashram. But Grihastha ashram is the means of purification. Okay. So like that. So here Parikshit Maharaj is asking this question. How did the great devotee and Atma Rama Priyavrata enjoy household life? So the problem is not with, first thing is acceptance. So he's asking, he accepted household life means he would have wanted it. For someone who was completely Atma Rama, completely self-satisfied, what was he trying to accomplish by accepting household life? What was he trying to accomplish by accepting household life? Okay. So he says then that na nunam mukta sanganam tadrishanam dijarshaba griheshu abhiniveshoyam pumsam bhavitum arhati. So he says, O best of the Brahmanas, tadrishanam pumsam, persons such as him who are free from material attachments should certainly not become absorbed in family life. The problem is with absorption in family life. So how could he become absorbed in family life? Okay. So he says then, Mahatam kalu viprarshe uttama shloka padayoho chaya nivrita chittanam na kutumbe sprihamati. Again he presents a proposal. There are actually great souls whose minds are blissfully engaged in meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the case with, of Priyavrat Maharaj. Therefore, for such a person, he would not be foolish to desire household life. Na matihi kutumbe spriha. He must not kutumbe spriha. The main focus here is not kutumbe. It is kutumbe spriha, an aspiration for household life. Okay. So why would someone aspire for household life? So which means there is that aspiration for household life proves that there is insufficient attachment to the lotus feet of Krishna, and there are still some material desires. So therefore, he is asking, how could he aspire for material life? Na matihi kutumbe spriha. Na kutumbe spriha matihi. How could he have an attachment to a desire for household life? Samshayoyam mahan brahman daragara sutadishu saktasya yat siddhirabhut krishne cha matir achyuta. Oh Brahmana, my doubt is that though he was attached to, and the second doubt is, okay, let us say that, okay, he was attached to his wife, house and children, etc. Then how is it possible that he could attain perfection and always thought of Krishna's lotus feet? Vishaya vishta chittanam vishnuavesha suduratah. Varunin diggatam vastu aindriyam kim apnuyat. So for someone who is whose mind is completely absorbed in material sense gratification, how can Vishnu avesha suduratah? For him to be absorbed in the lotus feet of Vishnu is very difficult. Just like a person who has lost something in the western direction, if he goes in the eastern direction to search for it, he's not going to get it. So I am having this doubt. First doubt is, why was Atma Rama perfected devotee Priyavrat Maharaj aspire for household life and get attached to it? And the second question is, having been attached to household life, how did he attain perfection and how did he always think of Krishna? So Shukadeva Goswami replies to this question. He says, Badamuktam Bhagavata Uttama Shlokasya Srimat Charanaраvinda Makaranda Rasa Aveshita Chetaso Bhagavata Paramahamsa Daita Katam Kinchid Antaraya Vihatam Swam Shivatamam Padavim Na Prayena Hinmanti. He says, Badamuktam. The principle that you have mentioned is correct, my dear Parikshit Maharaj. But Bhagavataha Uttama Shlokasya Srimad Charanaраvinda Makaranda Rasa Aveshita Chetasaha. But those whose minds are absorbed in the sweet taste of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Na Prayena Hinmanti Shivatamam Padavim. They do not generally give up the auspicious path. And what is the auspicious path? Bhagavata Paramahamsa Daita Katam. Topics of the Lord, who is very dear to the greatest of the devotees. Kinchit Antaraya Vihatam. Even though there may be some obstacle, they don't give up the auspicious path of Krishna Katha. They don't give up the auspicious path of Krishna Katha. They don't generally give up. This is a very landmark commentary here. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We will just touch this commentary before we start today's discussion. So Shukadeva accepts the question but refutes it. He says, it is true that it is not possible for the Atma Rama to become attached to household life. Correct. And for the person attached to household life to be attached to Krishna is also not possible. So there seems to be two issues here. The first issue is that initially it was mentioned that he was Atma Rama, but later he got attached to household life. This is the first problem. Then later, while being attached to household life, it is mentioned he later attained perfection while completely being absorbed in Krishna. This is the second problem. Both seem to be mutually exclusive situations here. How is it possible? So Srila Shukadeva Goswami says, yes, you are right. Both are not possible. It is not possible for an Atma Rama to become attached to household life, and it is not possible for someone who is attached to household life to attain perfection. But you should not think that great devotees of inconceivable character, first thing, inconceivable character. So these great devotees, their characters are inconceivable, would ever even temporarily become attached to material things, even though it may seem like that from an external perspective. But if you are seeing verifiable symptoms of perfection, of advancement, then you should try to neglect certain things. Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyehana Bhujai. We have always discussed this in the previous cantos. Okay. There are three types of non-judgmental, three ways in which one should be non-judgmental. Okay. 3 ways, right? Yeah. One is when we are dealing with very universal controllers like Brahmaji, Indra, etc. Very great universal controllers. So there the principle that we apply is Tejiya Samna Doshaya. For very powerful person, the common dosha that you would ascribe to ordinary human beings do not apply to very powerful persons. Tejiya Samna Doshaya. So from that principle, we do not judge very great universal controllers. Okay, because they take great responsibilities. So certain they will not be punished the way that ordinary human beings are punished. The same laws do not apply to them. So this is Tejiya Samna Doshaya principle, based on which we do not judge great universal controllers. So when it comes to perfected devotees, the principle that we apply is Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyehana Bhujai. One cannot understand properly the words, the intentions and actions of perfected devotees. So here the word Vaishnavera does not refer to senior devotees, just merely senior devotees. Here are any devotee for that matter. Here it refers to those devotees in whom the symptoms of bhava and prema are very clear. Shantir avyarta kalatvam viraktir manashunyata ashabandha samutkanta namagane sadaruchi asaktistad gunakyane preetistad vasati stale. When these symptoms are very clearly visible in those personalities, for them you apply the principle of Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyehana Bhujai. Yes, I am just a mere sadhaka. I am incapable of understanding the intentions and actions of a perfected Vaishnava. Even though the word Vaishnava is used, in that context, the word Vaishnava indicates a perfected Vaishnava. Now, the third category, so here you don't judge uh, a universal controller because the same rules do not apply. You don't judge an exalted Vaishnava, a perfected Vaishnava, because we cannot understand. And we don't judge a sadhaka based on what principle? Drishtair swabhava janitair vapushascha josher na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pashed gangambasam nakalu budbuda fena pankair brahma dravatvam apagachati nira dharmair. So he says that on the principle that yes, for a sadhaka, conditioning may be there, but by practice of bhakti, that conditioning will anyways go away. So just like I am conditioned and I have hope that by practice of bhakti, I will become purified one day. In the same way, um, the other devotee also who is conditioned, he will also overcome his conditioning by practice of bhakti, and he has hope. If I have hope, he has hope. So let me not get into this whole thing of judgmentalism, because in a few days, few months, few years, he will be out of this conditioning and he will be perfect. But myself, because of judging him and offending him, I will compromise my bhakti. So based on that principle, I don't judge a sadhaka. So three different principles. Okay. The same principle of non-judgmentalism, okay, but based on three different criteria. And the interesting thing is that you cannot mix the criteria also. You cannot for a senior devotee who is also a sadhaka, you cannot apply the principle of tejiyasam na doshaya. Okay, that's very dangerous actually, because that will that will actually set a wrong precedent. Because when you will think, when I also spend 5, 6 years, 10 years, the same tejiyasam na doshaya principle will apply to me also. We will start thinking like that. So you cannot apply the tejiyasam na doshaya principle. Nor can you apply the principle of Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyahana Bhujai. Then what we will do? Whenever we make some obvious mistakes, and if our junior points out, we will say, you will not understand it. Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyahana Bhujai. So both principles you cannot apply to just to senior devotees who may still be sadhakas. The only principle that we, for any sadhakas, whether they are seniors or juniors, as long as they are sadhakas, the only principle that we have to apply is drishtay swabhava janitay. Yes, I have my anarthas. I have hope that I will one day overcome it by practice of bhakti. Similarly, this Vaishnava may also have some anarthas, but he will also overcome it, and he has hope by practice of bhakti. That is the principle. So here he uses the word inconceivable. Okay. You should not think that the great devotees of inconceivable character would ever even temporarily become attached to material things, even though externally it may seem like that. So that is expressed in this verse. Those whose minds are absorbed in the Lord do not reject the topics of the Lord, which are most dear to the Paramahamsas, persons related to the Lord. Asaktistat gunakyane. They have great attachment to the topics of the Lord. Asaktistat gunakyane. Though the topics are somewhat interrupted, there may be some interruption. They may have to externally the fighting a war, taking care of the family, presiding assembly of ministers and everything. But still, one should understand, even though there may be some external interruptions, but internally one should understand that they are always meditating on that, on those principles. Those topics are the path giving happiness to the devotee, since by that path the devotee attains the Lord. But does the following verse not show that there is an obstacle? So he says, Tatanate madhavatavaka kvachit prashyanti marga tvai baddha sauhridaha tvaya bigupta vicharanti nirbhaya vinayaka nikapa murda suprabho. So in the Garbhastuti prayers, the demigod say, O Lord, even if devotees who are completely in love with you sometimes may fall from the path of devotion, they do not fall like non-devotees. Na tata. Why? Tvaya abhigupta. They are protected by you. Thus they fearlessly traverse the heads of their opponents and continue to progress in devotional service. So here he says, true, the devotee does not have any obstacle arising from time and karma. We were discussing this point also yesterday. Huh? So a devotee does not have any obstacle arising from time or karma. So he need not think in terms of, oh, is it Rahu Kala, is it Yamaganda, all those things he need not think, because mantratas tantratas chidram desha kalarha vastutah sarvam karoti nishchitram anusankirtanam tava. This has been accepted by Shukracharya himself. So by chanting the holy names, all kinds of inauspiciousness are destroyed. So one need not be very critical about, oh, this is Rahu Kala, this is. And there is no obstacles created by karma, which means if there is a problem which is one is undergoing, one need not go and investigate, oh, could it be due to my Pitru dosha? Could it be due to this karma, that karma? No, it cannot. However, there are two types of obstacles for the devotees. This is a very important point. One is that which is caused by great offense, and that which is caused by the Lord's desire. These are the two types. And if great offense, there may be some obstacles created by great offense. So one thing is, if a great offense has been committed, sometimes we may have to undergo a lot of difficulties for a long time in order to atone. In a devotional, as a result of that offense, we may have to undergo difficulties for a long time. And then it may go away. Or the other way is that sometimes the offense may be removed very quickly by the mercy of the Supreme Lord or the mercy of a Vaishnava, great Vaishnava. So we see these two types of result of offenses in the case of Dvivida and Rahugana. So Rahugana offended Jadabharata, but Jadabharata, because of his mercy, he allowed, he helped Rahugana quickly overcome that offense. But in the case of Dvivida, he caused a great offense to Lakshmana, and that offense carried over across many, many lifetimes. And sometimes obstacles may be created by the Lord's desire. That is the case of Bharat Maharaj. And why does the Lord to teach proper conduct to the devotee, and sometimes only to increase the prema of the devotee, he may do that, as in the case of Bharat Maharaj. But he says, since Priyavrat did not commit offense, his obstacle arose by the desire of the Lord. Now his apparent obstacle arose by the desire of the Lord. So fifth canto talks about, interestingly, two personalities. Priyavrat Maharaj, and in his same lineage comes Bharat Maharaj, both of whom, there were some obstacles to bhakti, seeming obstacles to bhakti created directly by the desire of the Lord. Okay. Okay. Is my voice fading sometimes? Again, someone is claiming that my voice is fading. Oh, was it? Okay. Just give me a second. Okay, let's try it once more. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Clear? Was it fading? Okay, clear. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. So, uh, yeah, this is the point. So, you see two personalities in the same family, Priyavrat Maharaj, and in his line came Bharat Maharaj, both of whom actually suffered. I mean, apparently, there were some obstacles, but by the desire of the Lord. The Lord taught his devotees by showing through adoration for a deer. The devotee should not have attachment, though they may think that such attachment is a good quality. Okay, this is the point. Through Bharat Maharaj's example, he wanted to show to common devotees, look, even though it may look like nice compassion, but one should not be attached in this way. This is material attachment, nevertheless. Um, it should be understood in the case of Priyavrat that the Lord taught the devotees that the devotees should follow the orders of superiors, though it is not suitable for bhakti, by showing how Priyavrat followed the order of Brahma. So, in this context, we had a discussion yesterday. We will we will have further discussion today also, if needed. That this principle applies that one should follow the orders of the superiors, even though uh, it may not be immediately favorable for our practice of bhakti. This principle applies to very great devotees like Brahmaji. Otherwise, one should, if the person who is giving instruction is a sadhaka, he may be a senior devotee, but he may be a sadhaka. Uh, but if he gives an instruction which may be very clearly unfavorable for one's own bhakti, then one should get it clarified from other well-intentioned, mature senior devotees. Prabhuji, this kind of an instruction is being given, but I am afraid that this may affect my bhakti in this way. So should I go ahead and do it, or what should I do? Better get it clarified. Okay, I will leave this there, and we will move on to today's discussion. So he continues. Srila Shukadeva Goswami continues. Yarhi vavaha rajan sa rajaputraha priyavrataha paramabhagavato naradasya charana upasevya anjasa avagata paramartha sattatvo brahmasatrena dikshishyamano avanitala paripalayana ayamnata pravaraguna ganaikanta bhajanataya स्वपित्र उपामंत्रितो भगवती वासुदेव एव अव्यवधान समाधि योगेन समावेशित सकल कारक क्रियाकलापो नैवाभ्यनंदद यद्यपि तद अप्रत्याम्नातव्यम तद अधिकरण आत्मनो अन्यस्मादसतोपि पराभवम अन्वीक्षमाणः. Very long prose verse. He says, O Rajan, O king, when Priyavrat, the son of the king, the greatest of devotees, who had become fully conversant with the highest goal and truth by serving the lotus feet of Narada, and had attained initiation by meditation on Atma, was requested by his father Manu to rule the earth because he possessed all the qualities mentioned in the scriptures for kingship. Since he was completely absorbed with all his senses and actions in worshipping the Lord through unbroken concentration, he did not welcome na eva abhyanandad. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So it is mentioned that when Priyavrat, who was fully conversant with the highest goal by serving the lotus feet of Narada, when he was requested by Swayambhuva Manu to take up to kingship. Okay. Why did Swayambhuva Manu? Because Priyavrat Maharaj was not a small provincial king. Priyavrat Maharaj was supposed to be the king of the whole Bhumandala. The whole Bhumandala. Not a king, like an emperor. So, because the Uttanapad's lineage stopped with Daksha. Daksha went to perform long austerities. So there was no one to rule. And Priyavrat Maharaj had all the qualifications. Priyavrat Maharaj had all the qualifications. So Manu approached Priyavrat Maharaj, look, you are fully qualified. You should do it. And but Priyavrat Maharaj was, no, come on, I'm quite well situated. Please don't disturb me. Please don't disturb me. I'm quite well situated. Why you are doing this to me? So like that he says, Yadyapi tad apratyamnatavyam. Even though ideally it was not possible, he should not, it is not something that suggestion should not be refused. But he did not welcome it. Why? Anvikshamana, because he saw tad adhikarana atmanopi parabhavam, that it would be unfavorable for him. Anyasmad asataha, since he would display lust and anger in himself when ruling the kingdom. So he thought, no. Okay. So no, this would cause unnecessary lust and anger. I have to be engaged in all these things. It would be not good for me. So let me not do it. I don't wish to do it. So, so now the question may arise, what happened to Uttanapad? So generally what happens when the son takes over the kingdom, immediately the father retires and takes up to Vanaprastha. And from Vanaprastha, there is no looking back. Then you don't again come back and take up to the kingdom. That is not appreciated. Once you move on, that's it. Okay. So in the case of, so therefore there is no question of calling a person who has already taken up to Vanaprastha. But Priyavrata Maharaj was still a brahmachari. He was still a brahmachari and he was having nice time with Narada Muni, under the shelter of Narada Muni, fully engaged in direct Krishna conscious activities. And now here was Swayambhuva Manu, who was just telling him, come on, start ruling. And then he said, no, why are you doing this to me? Because this was he was not just a ordinary provincial king. He was the only person who was qualified to be the emperor of the whole of Bhumandala, one full planetary system, not a planet also, one full planetary system. So, which means one of the 14 planetary systems. So, Priyavrat's status as an Atmarama was natural. By the mercy of Narada, he had become the greatest amongst the devotees. Only by the order of Brahma did he take up household life. That is stated in this verse. Vava means certainly. So, when ordered by his father to do this for protecting the earth, he did not welcome the order. Brahma made his appearance from his own abode. The sentence continues for 2 verses. By serving Narada, he quickly became fully knowledgeable of the highest goals and truths and attained initiation through the meditation on Atma. Then he became eager to limit himself with determination to experience
Only the Supreme Lord, full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, and not any material object. He wanted to meditate only on the Supreme Lord. At that moment, because he steadily manifested all the qualities mentioned in the scriptures for ruling the kingdom, his father Manu asked him to rule the world. You have all the qualities. There is no one to rule. You have to rule. Oh, Priyavrata, now you must protect the world. But he did not welcome that request. He did not desire to do so because he thought that it was not beneficial for him. He thought, this is not good for me. This is not good for me. Why? He was constantly engaged in concentrating without break on the Lord with all his senses and activities. He was directly engaged in the primary limbs of devotional service. Though what his father said could not be rejected, he protested, saying, I will not rule the kingdom. Please don't force me. Why? He considered that he would be affected by improper qualities like lust and anger in ruling the kingdom. So he said, no, please don't force me like this. So at that point of time, Brahmaji arrives. Ataha Bhagavan Adideva etasya guna visargasya परिब्रह्मण अनुध्यान व्यवसित सकल जगद अभिप्राय आत्मयोनिर अखिल निगम निजगण परिवेष्टितः स्वभवनाद अवततार गगनतल उडुपति इव like the moon in the sky Brahma अभिपूज्यमानः पति पति अभिपूज्यमानः worshipped on the way Amara Paribrudair by the chief of the devatas Vimanavalibir Anupatam, riding on fleets of airplanes. Siddha Gandharva Sadhya Charana Muniganair Varutashaha Upagiyamanaha, being praised by the groups of Siddhas, Gandharvas, Sadhyas, Charanas, and sages. Gandhamadana Dronim Upasasarpa. He approached the Gandhamadana hill. He approached the Gandhamadana hill. Avabasayan, lighting it up as he came close. So Brahmaji arrived at that place. Then Brahma, who was always engaged in contemplating the prosperity of the creation of the universe, while determining the intentions of all the living beings, just as the king determines the intentions of all his subjects through his servants, surrounded by Marichi and others, as well as the personified Vedas, appeared on earth from Satyaloka to show proof of the dharma to be taught to Priyavrata. So he came just to show that, okay, what your father is telling is approved by me also. Okay. What your father is telling is approved by me also. So, so please do not think that your father is just whimsically asking you to do it at the cost of your spiritual life, but it is approved by me. Don't you have trust in me? Please trust me. I approve of what he has told you. Knowing that Priyavrat, who was detached since childhood, would leave the house and go to the forest, Manu appointed his younger brother to rule the kingdom. So Priyavrat Maharaj understood the mentality of Swayambhuva Manu understood the mentality of Priyavrat Maharaj. So he appointed the younger brother, even though it was not the rule or it was not the actual practice. The elder brother would always be made the king. But understanding the nature of Priyavrat Maharaj, he made Uttanapad, even though he was the younger brother and less qualified than Priyavrat Maharaj, but still he made him the king. Okay. So his descendants up to the Prachetas ruled the kingdom. In this way, half of Swayambhuva Manvantara passed. Daksha was born a second time as the son of the Prachetas during the Swayambhuva Manvantara, but with a desire to attain his previous powers, he went to perform austerities. So there was only one son of the Prachetas. Okay. Only one son of the Prachetas. That was Daksha. And Daksha actually uh, he wanted to become a Prajapati again, but this time as the son of uh, the Prachetas, he was not a Prajapati. So he went to perform austerities to regain that power of being a Prajapati. Since there was no king, Manu, seeing no alternative, wanted to bring Priyavrat back from the forest. When he was not able to bring him back, Brahma came and made Priyavrat rule the kingdom. Priyavrat's descendants ruled until the fifth Manvantara. So then, until the fifth Manvantara, they ruled. Priyavrat's descendants. So right now, this is the Swayambhuva Manvantara. Okay. So then Swayambhuva, then the second, third, fourth, fifth Manvantara. So for half of Swayambhuva Manvantara, and then 4 more Manvantaras. For 4.5 Manvantaras, Priyavrata's descendants ruled. And then Daksha became a Prajapati, and then, this all continued. Okay. Since the third, fourth, and fifth Manus, Uttama, Tamasa, and Raivata, were the sons of Priyavrata, with only the second Manu, Swarochisha, intervening, he was the son of Agni. The sons and grandsons of these Manus ruled as kings over the earth as descendants of Priyavrata's line. So Priyavrata's sons were also Manus, future Manus. So that way, even though the next Manvantara started, but still the descendants of Priyavrat Maharaj, they were only ruling. Then, at the beginning of the Chakshusha Manvantara, giving up his austerities, Daksha, who was in Uttanapad's line, he became the king and engaged in producing population. So, you see here. So, Daksha, when he started procreating, he was the descendant of Uttanapad's line. So, he performed austerities roughly from the middle of the Swayambhuva Manvantara till which is the first Manvantara, till the beginning of the sixth Manvantara. And from the first half of first Manvantara till the end of fifth Manvantara, Priyavrat's descendants ruled. Then again, Uttanapad's descendants started ruling. My God, then can you imagine for how long this genealogy is continuing actually? Chakshusastwantare prapte praksarge kala vidrute yassa sarja praja ishtaha sadaksho daiva choditaha. Oh, this is proof from the fourth canto to substantiate this point. He who, inspired by the Lord, created the desired progeny at the time of Chakshusha Manvantara, when the previous creation had been destroyed by time, is known as Daksha. So this Daksha, the Chakshusha Manvantara, actually he starts progeniting again. Since Chakshusha was in the line from Uttanapad, it should be understood that Swayambhuva's descendants reigned until that time. So then he continues. Sa tatra tatra gaganatala udupatir iva vimanavalibir anupatam Oh, this seems like a repetition. Why am I repeating this? I thought I already completed this, right? I don't know. Okay, we have completed this verse, right? Like the moon in the sky, Brahma worshipped on the way by the chief devatas, riding on the fleets of airplanes and praised by groups of siddhas, gandharvas, sadhyas, charanas, and sages, approached Gandhamadana hill, lighting it up as he came close. This verse describes Brahma's spectacular appearance on earth. Saha refers to Brahma. He was worshipped by the chief devatas who had fleet of airplanes. Tatra va enam devarshir hamsa yanena pitaram bhagavantam hiranyagarbham upalabhamanah sahasaivotthaya arhanena saha pita putrabhyam avahita anjalir upataste. Narada, realizing that it was Brahma, his father, by seeing a swan carrier, immediately stood up and with folded hands approached him with articles of worship along with Priyavrata and Swayambhuva Manu. So, understanding that it was the father Brahmaji, so Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavrata Maharaj, all of them started worshipping him. So, Narada also, sorry. Narada, recognizing him by the swan carrier, recognized him by the swan carrier. Pita putrabhyam means, so it's not that they have never seen their father. Okay, it's not that they had never seen their father, that they had to look at the swan carrier to understand that this is my father. No. But from a distance, they could see the swan carrier only, and by the entourage. So from a distance, they could understand. Right? So it's not that they had to see the swan to understand that, oh, this must be my father. Okay. So how many of you, your father had a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, and you could understand that he had come back from his office, by hearing the sound of the two-wheeler. Is there anyone here who had this experience, right? Where you were at home, and then just by hearing the sound, very unique sound of the two-wheeler or four-wheeler, you could say, oh, father has come, like that, right? So similarly here, in the case of, it's not that if you don't see if the father would have come not in two-wheeler, if he would have come in some other, if he had come walking, it's not that you would not have identified your father. But that was a typical sound, maybe a bullet or, something like that. You hear that sound and then, oh, father has come. Similarly, here it's not that they had to see the swan and identify that it was Brahma, my father. But from a distance, you see the swan carrier only. And then you see the big entourage. So this must be father coming. So this indicates from a distance. It's not that even after coming close, they could identify Brahma only because of the swan carrier. No, not like that. Bhagavan api bharata tad upanita arhanah sukta vakena atitaram udita guna ganavatara tujayah Priyavratam Adipurushastam Sadaya Hasavaloka iti hovacha. O Parikshit, after Narada, Manu, and Priyavrata presented offerings, Lord Brahma, whose glorious appearance of affection for the progeny is glorified constantly by the Vedas, looking at Priyavrata with mercy and a smile, he spoke. So here, Brahmaji is being addressed here. And he is addressed here as that Avatara Sujaya, whose glorious appearance of affection for the progeny is glorified constantly by the Vedas. So, Sukta Vakena Atitaram Udita Gunagana. So, Brahmaji will never act in a way. This is just to give confidence that even for a moment, don't doubt Brahmaji's intentions. Brahmaji is glorified in the Vedas for his affection towards the progeny, all the living entities. So Brahmaji would never give a suggestion to any of his progeny which would be unfavorable for the benefit of that progeny. Like that. It should be understood that Narada had been giving instructions to Priyavrata at that time, and Manu had come to bring Priyavrata home. Lord Brahma, who was presented offerings by Narada, Manu, and Priyavrata, who was glorious for having descended to show affection to his progeny, described profusely by the worship of the Vedas, then spoke to Priyavrata. Brahma had a merciful glance. It should be understood that Narada had... Oh, sorry. It is already done. Okay. Now, Brahma is going to give reasons for convincing Priyavrat Maharaj. Okay. So at this point, we will pause to see if there are any quick discussion points, comments, or questions. Because I don't want to have insufficient time for discussions and churning. So if there are not sufficient questions or discussions, then we will cover one or two more verses. But at this point, I would like to pause to see if there are any quick questions, comments, discussion points. Anything anyone would like to share as add? You can either raise your hands or type your questions in the chat box. Yes, Sachi Pran Prabhu.
So, please accept my humble apologies.
Please accept my answer. Yes, Prabhu.
In the management, whenever we take any management, there are always chances of, offending Vaishnavas, particularly in Vaishnava projects
Mhm,
or in a Tilak temple, wherever like where devotees are working together.
mhm.
And there are always chances like whether you cannot make happy everyone. Sometimes your decisions, although your intentions may be good, sometimes it happens unintentionally, I'm saying, not intentionally.
Yeah.
Still, that unintentional offenses also you have to suffer for that activities.
Yeah, I mean, no, you will not suffer for unintentional offenses as long as you don't come to know about it and you had all good intentions. But the moment you come to know about it, if we don't reconcile and rectify that mistake, then it is no longer it's no longer an unintentional offense. So once you come to know that someone is upset by your decisions or the way you communicated so then you will have to, uh, pacify and patch up.
But there are many examples now, Prabhuji, like Rupa Goswami suddenly stopped seeing that, and then again Chitraketu Maharaj, his intention was good, but he got mother got upset and she cursed Chitraketu Maharaj. So there are many Shastric examples where there was intention
Yeah.
is there, but still they are suffering because of that unintentional offense.
Okay. You took 3 examples. Okay. The first example is Srila Rupa Goswami. For Rupa Goswami, the unintentional offense, it was unintentional and momentarily he lost it just to set the right example for others. Okay. Because the Goswamis also had to set right examples of the importance of avoiding Vaishnava Parad even unintentionally. So he wanted to show that. So that is the principle. And in the case of Chitraketu Maharaj, it is very clearly the Acharya has explained that if Chitraketu Maharaj would have, the Lord Sankarshan was feeling separation from Chitraketu Maharaj. So he wanted to make Chitraketu Maharaj come to him very quickly. So he orchestrated that curse through which Chitraketu Maharaj would become Vritrasur and very quickly be killed by Indra and he would come back to him. So that is the case of Chitraketu Maharaj. What is the third example that you gave, Prabhu?
Yeah, this is only two examples again.
Only 2. Yeah. So, yeah, unintentional mistakes are not mistakes. But when it is brought to our attention, we cannot hide behind telling that it was an unintentional mistake. Then we will have to try to rectify it.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare. Yes, Ananga Sundari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Prabhuji.
Dandavat.
When Priyavrat Maharaj was requested by Lord Brahma, at that time Uttanapada was there, no, Prabhuji?
Yeah, but Uttanapad he had already taken up to Vanaprastha. After Vanaprastha, you cannot call him back.
Okay, so
Just
this
like after
whole
sannyas, you cannot pull them back to Grihastha life. So in the same way, when someone has taken up to Vanaprastha and decided, when they have already, put the sons. So from a social perspective, if you see, the son has been enthroned. So then it is the son's responsibility. The father's responsibility is over. Then he goes and fully concentrates on perfecting his life.
So Dhruva
So,
Maharaj was there, no?
yeah, but Dhruva Maharaj had taken up some other responsibility.
Okay.
This is much after Dhruva Maharaj.
Okay. After Dhruva Maharaj left to his Dhruva abode.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Dhruva Lok. Okay.
Because he says that half of the Manvantara is over. Dhruva Maharaj ruled the earth only for 36,500 years. And after that, his sons, so many generations had passed. So once the father gives over the kingdom to the son, then there is no question of his taking back.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Leela Manjari Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Sachipran Prabhuji and me, we are very, very extremely, we are like brother and sister and very good God brother, God sister. But just in continuation with his route of management, so regarding all these spiritual projects, devotees, they work together and some devotee will work under some devotee. So someone will be a leader, someone will be a subordinate. So sometimes it really happens that without intention, there's a mistake on leader's side. Without intention. Absolutely. But because of that mistake, the subordinate, first of all, let me clear, it is not between me and Sajipram Prabhu. That's why that disclaimer is just the overall view I wanted from you. So the leader does the mistake without intention, but the subordinate had to suffer because of that mistake of the leader.
Okay.
Suffer means materially, if that subordinate is a pure devotee, that suffering is no more a suffering. But since the subordinate is also not a pure devotee, subordinate has to suffer whatever little bit. So that slight kind of, with all exercising, trying to fully exercise forgiveness and everything, still little bit of hurt remains inside कि यार ऐसा हुआ. So I'm asking that how to overcome that hurt.
How to overcome the hurt from the subordinate side. Yeah, I mean, there are many ways. One is to understand that is the nature of the material world. We are not here to adjust everything perfectly in this material world. We do the business and go back, So, and the second way, there are many ways of doing it. Another way is to say that, even if I had been in his situation and he had been in my situation, also I would have been forced to take such a decision only. Those kind of, that way also one can reconcile. And another way of reconciling is, the more I harbor these kind of negative feelings, the more it is going to slow down my bhakti. So I should do what is favorable for my bhakti, and just don't get too much disturbed by this. So like this, and then take help from other mature senior devotees, and that way slowly one can do various things to overcome what one is going through.
But it takes quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean, the more it takes quite a long time, because many of the time we may not actively do the right thing to rectify it. We may not actively do the right thing to rectify it, so it may take a long time. But when we actively take, the more actively we take, it will take less and less time to rectify it.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Sita Komal Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranam. Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in the text number 6 in Prabhupada's purpose, Prabhupada says that Brahmloka is the planet in the spiritual world, but we used to say that Satyaloka or the Brahmloka is the uppermost planet in the material world. This is in text 7.
Okay. This is in text 7. Okay. Okay, like the moon in the sky, Brahma worshipped by the belief they are riding on the chief of the plains, praised by the. Where is Brahmaloka indicated here? The text 7.
Not in this thing, in Prabhupada's purpose.
Okay, in Prabhupada's purport, let's go to Prabhupada's purport and see what is Prabhupada mentioning. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 1st chapter, 7th verse purport. Okay, let's see.
Last two lines.
Yeah, yes, I'll come there. Okay, I will share the screen. Let us see what Prabhupada says here. There is a significant word in the verse is Swabhavanat, indicating that Lord Brahma descended from his own abode. Every demigod has his own abode. Indra the king. Okay. This is confirmed Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Those who worship the demigods go to their different planetary systems. Lord Brahma's abode, the highest planetary system, is called Satyaloka or sometimes Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka usually refers to the spiritual world, Prabhupada says. The abode of Brahma, Lord Brahma, is Satyaloka, but because Lord Brahma resides there, it is also sometimes called as Brahmaloka. Okay, this is very simple. So Brahmaloka generally refers to the spiritual world. Brahma does not reside there. Brahma resides in Satyaloka. His abode is called as Satyaloka. But because Satyaloka is the abode of Brahma, therefore sometimes Satyaloka is also called as Brahmaloka. But when Satyaloka is called as Brahmaloka, that Brahmaloka is not the spiritual world. Brahmaloka just refers to the spiritual world generally. But sometimes when Satyaloka is addressed as Brahmaloka, that Brahmaloka is not spiritual world. That's what Prabhupada is telling here.
Okay. So I used to think, Prabhuji, that Satyaloka, Brahmaloka, they're interchangeably used terms for Brahma's abode only.
No. Brahmaloka sometimes is used, mostly Brahmaloka indicates the spiritual world only. Sometimes Satyaloka is also called as Brahmaloka, so you understand it based on the context. When Satyaloka is called as Brahmaloka because it is Brahma's abode, that is not spiritual world.
Similarly, in Prabhupada's purport only in text number 6, the Prabhupada says that Lord Krishna has 16,000 wives. All of them very beautiful, and although he dealt with each of them as a beloved husband, he was not attracted or attached to any of them. So
Okay.
this is like the understanding is like, although Krishna loved all his devotees, but he's still not attached to them. That's the same understanding goes there.
No, it means here he is, when Prabhupada uses the word attachment, he is indicating the word material attachment. Otherwise, the Lord is definitely attached to his wives, but that kind of an attachment is not the kind of attachment that ordinary material living entities in the material world have towards their wives and family. It's not that kind of an attachment. That's what it means. But spiritual attachment is definitely there.
Okay. Right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you, Pranam.
Correct. Brajalila Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
I just wanted one clarification regarding that statement that Jivan Mukta level is equivalent to Bhava and Prema. Jivan Mukta means he is out of bodily material existence. He is not aware of this material thing. But how can it be equal to Bhava and Prema? Because some of the
No, it is not equivalent to Bhava and Prema. It is not equivalent to Bhava and Prema. Like, for example, like I would say, I mean, I don't want to give an example and sound little not so good. How can I say? Let us say someone is doing engineering 4th year. and medical 5th year. Okay. Even though they both are two different courses, okay, but the 4th year of engineering and the 5th year of medical is all the final year of their studies. So, but that does not mean the final year of, after completing the final year of engineering, the engineer and the doctor will be similarly qualified. It is not like that. So when we say the Jivan Mukta is equivalent to a person at the stage of Bhava and Prema, it means after the Jivan Mukta stage, he will attain Sayujya Mukti, and after attaining the stage of Prema, the devotee will become an associate of the Lord in the spiritual world. In that sense, it is equivalent, but it is not exactly the same.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare.
Thank you.
Pavan Gaurang Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Is it audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Please accept my humble obeisance, Prabhu.
Please.
Prabhu, thank you so much for yesterday and today's discussion of household life. That is very nice thing, Prabhu. My question is regarding today's discussion of the offense. What in my observation, like we don't feel offensive or offending when there is a situation of very senior and very junior. In generally, maybe because of their aspiration of devotional service, looking them as exemplary. But when it comes to the things in the management of the situation, or sometimes when we are having a difference of opinion in, and either it may be in the education or it may be in the principles of some aspects of devotional service, when they feel that this opinion is differs from us, so then they naturally because of the opinion is different, it is not that they are not doing any voluntary service as per their no desire. We may be able to do all the services what they are giving, but the thing is that we are not in line with their opinion. So having
Okay.
this understanding, they may be because of this opinion of understanding difference in the opinion, they will try to maybe he is not aligning with us, he is not with us. This is the one one way of getting into the separation of the relationship. And another thing is that to prove it, again and again, they will try to purposefully they will give some kind of troublesome. But this from what we face. And another thing is from the practitioner point of view, how we should take it out from the practitioner point of view. Why? Because we need to have the good relationship with the devotees. Why? Because the path of progress on the devotional service is ultimately on the relationship with the devotees. Then that should not be halted because of these things. And the second thing is that when we look up our spiritual master and our things, then they will be more focusing on this thing. Means at the same juncture we
Prabhu,
are
you
struggling.
are making the question very, very complicated. Can you present it in a little bit simpler way, because it is becoming very complicated? So can you present it in a slightly simpler way?
Okay, one thing. Okay, I will make it in 2 points. One thing is that the difference of opinion or the feeling of offense will come. It's because of the difference in the opinion, but not in the rendering of the devotional service. This is the point of one I want to make. And the another thing is that as a practitioner, we should have the good relationship. But when somebody is intentionally intentionally he's making us to struggle or something, then we will not feel so much inspired to be with those devotees. But the thing is that our spiritual master and all will always says that these relationships are very important. So how to we should deal in those situations, how we should be cultivate in the devotional attitude in those situations.
See, I would say this is where again and again I mention the same point. Our spiritual inspiration need not come from our managerial authorities. Okay, let me ask you one question, Prabhu. When you
Yeah.
are when you are in your office, you are working in where? Infosys? Where?
Yeah, emphasis.
Infosys.
if your boss is not very good, what you will do?
No, we will work and whatever the requirement he is giving, we will finish it out and we will keep it as per the work level, relationship.
Bas, keep that kind of relationship, but for your spiritual inspiration, you take inspiration from wherever you get it. The problem is when we have this becomes a serious issue because we somehow think we are internally wired in this way that the very fact that I am in a spiritual institution and he is my authority, meaning he is my spiritual authority. We unconsciously we believe like that. So when that authority is not behaving properly with us, we feel, how will my spiritual life progress? No, not necessarily. If your spiritual master wants you to work under that particular authority and that authority is creating problems, okay, do the bare minimum to to kind of keep the authority happy, and at the same time you continue to take your spiritual inspiration from wherever it comes from. So your spiritual master, when he says work under him, all that it means is you engage in the activities of in the services of the mission under his guidance. But that does not, the spiritual master does not say that you have to necessarily get your spiritual inspiration from this personality only. That is, I don't think the spiritual master says like that. Even, so that is something that we have to understand. And even otherwise, okay, when at some point it becomes very difficult to maintain positive devotional attitude while working under a particular Vaishnava, if it becomes very, very difficult, it is not that the spiritual master always wants us to stay and suffer. We can always make some changes where we can maintain. The most important thing is where we can remain positive in our devotional attitude. So we go there and serve with a positive attitude. That is most important. Otherwise, if we are suffocating and we are constantly negative, but just because, but we are just staying just so that, I don't want to displease my spiritual master. So that attitude can be counterproductive, because one of the most important instructions of the spiritual master is to stay positive in your devotional activities. But if staying in a particular place or under a particular situation is making you too much negative that you are unable to handle it, then you follow the greater principle of be where you can remain positive in devotional practices. That's what we should do.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. There are, I think, some questions in the chat box. Let's take those questions. Okay. What offense Rahuguna has committed in past life? Can you put some light? Okay. We have not come to Rahuguna's episode yet. Rahuguna actually directly offends Jadabharata. So we will come to this episode in the later in the 5th canto. Rahuguna directly offends Jadabharata. That was the problem actually. Then, effects of offenses is rectified only by suffering with passing of time and mercy of great devotees. What is the sadhaka's role? Well, the sadhaka can slowly reduce the time that it takes to rectify that offense, and the degree of suffering that we may have to undergo due to that offense. The sadhaka can reduce it by trying to beg for forgiveness, trying to serve that devotee, trying to pacify him in various different ways. By these ways, the sadhaka can endeavor to reduce the time and the effect of that particular offense. So sadhaka's role is definitely there. Okay, next question. Few of Prabhupada's disciples, after taking up sannyas, they have become householders. How to understand this? Well, in our case, the whole sannyas is only a preaching this thing. We are talking about, when we talk about sannyas, the whole sannyas is from a
from a Varnashram gradual path perspective. From that Varnashram gradual path perspective, a sannyasi cannot come back. Okay. But from a devotional perspective, anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. The whole concept of sannyas itself is actually only for preaching purpose. So, but when one realizes that it is no longer conducive, then they have to do something which is most conducive for their own devotional development. So that principle which applies to the gradual path does not apply here, actually. As a sadhaka, how to take up their instructions without judging them. This is a very valid point. Okay. So the point is, someone may be in their 5th grade. Someone may pass their 5th grade exams, whereas someone else may fail in their first year of engineering. Okay. Someone may pass their 5th grade exam. Someone may fail in their 5th grade in their first year of engineering. So we cannot see that I have passed, he has failed. The point is, I have passed 5th grade. He has passed 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and then gone to first grade. Then he has become qualified to enter into an engineering college and then failed in the first year of engineering college. Okay. So oftentimes when we give respect, we give extraordinary respect, and when we pull them down, we pull them down extraordinarily. So we should not do that. We should understand, okay, I thought he was a Paramahamsa, but apparently it looks like he is not yet a Paramahamsa, but he is definitely more advanced than me. He is definitely more advanced than me. So in that sense, we have to accept. Okay, I think we should pause here. Thank you all very much for your patient listening and your enthusiastic participation. Srila Prabhupada